Hi, I'm Eric. Welcome to the first module of this smoking cessation course. Um, Download the PDF. When you do, you'll discover it has a couple of parts. It's all readings and short reading, brief readings. The first part is lays out the various steps in the non-smoking process, and then the second part shows you the various stages of readiness that scientists have defined, from not being ready at all to being ready to take action and do something about quitting, which is module 6 of this course. There's also some information there about how to stay quit. Scientists call that maintenance, how to stay quit. And there's also a section on what to do if you start smoking again, and how to think about that as a bump in the road rather than as a defeat, so that you can pick it up again and keeping your goal to stop smoking forever intact, and using going back to smoking as a stepping stone to getting to your ultimate goal. Now, why is the ultimate goal important? So I'm going to tell you a story that I promised a friend of mine that I would tell, that I always tell my students. He's a doctor. He said, please tell them this story. One day he walked into a hospital room to see a new patient, one he hadn't had before. He walks into the hospital and sees this lady who he knows is in her early 50s. She's sitting on the edge of the hospital bed. She's got a mask, oxygen mask on her face. She's wired up to a oxygen tank. Okay, she has to sleep sitting up because her lungs are shot. Her lungs are shot from 30 years of a pack a day smoking, so they don't inflate the way they need to. So she has to sit up, and they don't deflate. So she has to sit up so that air can still get in and out. So she sleeps sitting up. She sits on the bed. She can barely maneuver. She's only in her early 50s, and so if she can stay alive, she's got, what, 10, 20, maybe even 30 years if something else doesn't happen to her, which is, who knows. But she's got years where she gets to be able to have a very close relationship with this tank of oxygen in her life, and the fact that she's immobile pretty much. So she's basically living a very miserable life. And my friend walks in, introduces himself, starts to do an exam, and she says to him, totally unbidden, she says to him, Doc, if I had known it was going to be like this, I never would have started smoking to begin with. And my friend told me to tell all my students this story so that you would have a picture in your mind about what awaits if you don't stop. Okay, the best thing is never to start, and if you do, it's better to stop. You don't want to be like that lady. You don't want to have a heart attack at 55 and be debilitated for the next bunch of years forever you're alive. You don't want to get lung cancer, and in fact, cigarette smoking contributes to all cancers, so you're at a greater risk for all cancers. All these are chronic illnesses that nobody wants. Okay, they just debilitate whatever life you have left. Smokers also die around 10 or 11 years on average earlier than their age peers who don't smoke. So there's just nothing good about it. Okay, so it's really great that you're in this class, and now I've done my promise to my friend, and I want you also, it's for me. You don't know me, you don't have to do this for me, but I'm doing this because I've been around people who are in that, like that lady, and I don't ever want anyone to be in that situation. It is terrible. Okay, now smoking is hard to get rid of, and it has lots of positives. So one thing that'll happen when we go through the class is for you to start to identify those positives for you and be able to find alternatives to smoking to help meet the needs that smoking now gives you. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, download the PDF. When you're done reading and looking at that material, go on to part 2. Okay, and we'll pick it up from there.